Namaste. Good afternoon. I have energy in the afternoon. If you know me, that's a big deal. That is a big, that's a big deal. So my brain is going everywhere. I got my nice cozy pajamas. It's spooky season. We got spooky decorations all around. It's a good day. How you doing? I hope you are doing good. This eclipse season's got my emotions everywhere. Like, I was in my cave crying, like really trying to crawl my way out. I'm out. I am out and cozy, and I'm okay right now. I have so much, like my crown chakra has been really opening up with me, just feeding my spirit and what I want to do. So with the opening and like all these ideas, immediately the old programming in my old self is like panicking and all this stuff that just doesn't feel good with me. So instead I'm like, hey, little anxiety, little old self, it's okay. I know there's a lot going on. We wanted to be creative, and for years nothing was flowing, and now it just won't stop flowing. We're okay. We're in no hurry. We are just creating and being. And honestly, that is a really hard thing for me to do. With my traumas, I realized I try to have control of like situations in my life, just everything. I try to have control. Even especially being a seer, I can see I want to control everything. But I'm learning with making a safe space for my spirit, I can't control things. That is a trauma response. That is something from my trauma, feeling like I have some kind of sense of control calms me, but at the same time, I don't have control in the way of like, I can't control other people. The only thing I can control is myself. But even in that, if I am acting a certain way to get a certain outcome, also that's not going to work for me either. I'm learning I need to be authentically me, flow with the way my spirit wants to flow, and then we're going to see what happens that way. Because the structure of like colonizers, their society, the way they taught us we need to be, does not resonate with me in any kind of way. Just like friction, and it's just not a good time. So here I am. Just being and allowing my brain, my autistic ADHD, beautiful brain to be the way it is, and to learn how to work with my brain and not put myself down. So here we are. I've gotten so many channeled messages, and I am learning how to present it in the way that works for me. I have Oracle, I have tarot cards. I feel called to do that in the next video. But right now they're talking to me through the smoke. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but my ancestors are here and my spirit team. This one's gonna be a little heavy. So it's gonna be real talk. We're gonna talk, we're gonna be real, it's gonna get uncomfortable a little bit, and that's okay. If you need to take a break, you need a comfort blankie, comfort snacky, comfort drinky. Whatever you need, let's get it. Let's get it. This healing journey. And when I say healing journey, all it is making a safe space for your spirit. It is rough in so many different ways. So many different ways. But one of the ways that I'm going to talk about is, well, today. We're going to talk about all the ways through this series, but today. Making a safe space for your spirit it can be really hard. I know I've talked about this before, but there's like so much depth with this. With the beings around you in so many ways. In the way of like you deciding to make a safe space for your spirit, you're going to be growing and changing, and in that, like, depending on who you're around, that's gonna be new for the beings you're around too. And it is so complex. It is so complex. Okay, for me. People pleaser. Healing people pleaser here. When I started it, I knew it was going to be so hard for me because there was many things I had to reprogram in my brain and to release and stop doing all those things I've learned through like my traumas and my life. My brain, where'd it go? Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Okay. Where did it go? Don't fly away. Okay. Me. Oh, people pleaser. Okay, so I knew when I started my healing journey years ago that I was going to eventually have to speak up for myself. And I was in that victim mentality for a very long time until like I heard a being that I love so much because I would not face that part of me. I would not let that shadow side. I wouldn't even touch it. I was just like, I'm fine, push it away, push it away. And for me, I was so heavy in the victim mentality of like the beings around me always treat me this way. Either they're gonna figure out how to treat me or I'm just gonna have to leave and run away. But in that, never did I communicate my needs, like what I needed, what I didn't need, what I wanted, what I didn't want from the relationships around me. Instead, I'm like, well, if they really love me, they'll figure out that I need this and I don't want to be treated this way and like whatever have you. But how are they gonna know? They can't read my mind, even if they are telepathic, which one of the beings I'm connected to, we can telepathically communicate in certain situations, but at the same time, I need to communicate my needs. And that was something I needed to learn instead of just being so heavy in that victim mentality of no one treats me right, I'm just gonna like leave and maybe someone will show up, the beings will show up that are meant to treat me right. But at the same time, if I do not have boundaries, if I do not communicate my needs and also like learn when I can give and when I can't give, like my cup, filling up my cup first and letting it overflow. If I'm not doing that, that's on me. And I had to learn that the very hard way because I did hurt someone I loved dearly. Because instead of like confronting that shadow and like really digging in and figuring out why I'm like that, why I can't talk to people and communicate my needs, I ended up hurting someone I really love. Because instead I'm like, well, I'm just going to run. And I learned from that, I can't do that. I can't run because that, like, I'm just as toxic if I don't acknowledge, like, my part in this. Even if my part is just communicating, hey, I don't want to be treated like that. I didn't communicate that. How's that person supposed to know that? So my actions after that, it's on me. It's not on that person, you know? So I say this, especially for, like, fellow people pleasers. I know, especially from our traumas, we feel like we need to just make sure the people around us are comfortable and they're happy, even if we agree to things that don't feel good with us, that don't resonate with our spirit, even if we're giving when we don't have anything to give. Where was I going? Where was I going? My brain. Water real quick. We'll see if I can find where I was traveling. So, being a people pleaser, like, we feel like we're just keeping the peace, but in all honesty, this is something that hit me so hard, and I was like, man, like I really sat on it where, what is that? Like people pleasing is like a form of deception in a way, because you're like, and manipulation. You are trying to manipulate the outcome. You want to keep the peace, so instead of saying your truth, you're saying what you think needs to be said. You're doing what you think needs to be done to keep the peace, to keep the people around you. But in reality, you're like manipulating the situation. And in reality, if you're not speaking your truth, you're just holding back that cycle, like ending that cycle of like putting your needs last and everyone else's first, so you can have some form of love and acceptance. But I have learned from my journey, and like many tears and so many situations, that you deserve, and like me, I deserve to live a life of authenticity, of just being myself, not feeling like I need to put on certain masks and behave a certain way, be a certain way to keep the people around me. I've done so much work internally with my inner child and my inner teen, because as a kid and a teenager, that's what I had to do. I had to change myself in so many ways. I'm autistic, ADHD. My family, they got so much cycles they need to break and end. And through my childhood and like my teen years, I had to dim my light and my spirit so heavily that there were pieces of my spirit so deep within like my human meat suit, so deep that it took years and years and years of like making a safe space for my spirit to be able to bring up those pieces. Like some of those pieces my inner teen held on to, some my inner child held on to, and they did not release those pieces until they felt safe enough with me. Because I became this person I think I thought I needed to be, so that others would love me and accept me. But even though I did all those things, nobody could see me because I wasn't being me. They could see my masks, they could see all those, but that wasn't me. So I felt so alone. So I just hit a point where I was like crying to my ancestors. I also may have taken some special mushrooms. I'll do a whole video on that because that was a whole thing. But I was like crying to them. Like, please, I want like stability, and I just want people that see me, and I will follow you to my ancestors. I will follow you. And then they took me down a journey. Like, it's a rough journey, but also beautiful. There's so much beautiful memories and beings I met within like this journey of making a safe space for my spirit. My brain, it goes everywhere. So we're going to be jumping. We're going to be hula hooping with the topic because my brain likes to bounce, and I'm honoring it. So I'm going to drink some water and let's see what this brain has in store for us, because I don't know. So choosing you and saying no when you want to say no. It doesn't feel right to say yes. Say no. But I'm going to tell you right now, like, especially if you haven't done any of that and you are a heavy people pleaser at the moment, it will take time. It will be uncomfortable. Like, at first, when I was putting up my boundaries and saying no, I literally, like, my body would shake. My throat would, like, tremble. Sometimes it was hard to even say it. Sometimes I'd be crying while I'm saying, no, I can't do this. Like, that's how hard it was to put my needs first. Like, no, it's hard. It is really hard. So while you're doing this, be kind of gentle with yourself. And don't be hard on yourself that it is hard to put your needs first. be kind and gentle, and like when those voices do come in, face your inner child and your inner teen. Like that negative voice, head on out, bye, you ain't welcome. But face like your inner child and your inner teen, check in with them. Like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, well, what if we tell this person no and like they won't love us anymore? You know, and like, you know what? That's a valid fear. But if us saying no to this being we will lose their love by saying no. This being isn't meant to be in our life. We deserve unconditional love. If we're not hurting anybody and we're living a life that makes us happy, the beings around us should just be happy for us. And if they're not, and we lose their love, their attention, whatever have you, that has nothing to do with us and everything to do with that person. And maybe we just don't resonate with each other anymore. Or we're just not meant to experience each other anymore. And that's okay. Because us, little me, teen me, and me, we have always deserved a life filled with joy and just doing things that make us happy. Because really, like, in my darkest times, trigger warning, majority of my life, I didn't want to be here. First time I tried to head out, go back to the spirit world, I was 8 years old. Through that, like, I wanted to head out for a very, very long time. But since I started doing my healing journey, I have not been wanting to bounce to the spirit world. Sometimes I get the intrusive thoughts, but not in the way it used to be. Like, I would just wake up and I just did not want to be here. In my darkest times, when that happened, like when I was so consistent, but I knew at the same time, I'm like, my spirit didn't come here to Unchimaka Grandmother Earth. Especially during, like, we're the 7th generation. You will hear me talk about that quite frequently. I didn't come here to just want to bounce. That's not why I came here. So then, like, I was also crying to my ancestors. I'm like, I know there's more. I know, like, I am meant to live. Thrive, not survive. But, like, the hand I was dealt, that was a hand of survival. Like, it was... I was not set up for success. But my spirit always, like, was pulled to just a life of, like, happiness and freedom. But everything on the outside of me was the opposite of that. But I don't know what it was. My spirit, my inner child, definitely, and my inner teen held on to the fact that, like, I will have a life of thriving, not surviving. But to get there, I have had to fight for myself. And release beings that I love very much. I've had to choose me over and over and over again. And it's really hard. It is really hard. So back to the beginning of this video. Making a safe space for your spirit, it can be really hard with the beings around you. And if you have beings that are also on that journey, and they, like, give you space to be you and they're understanding, yes, I am so happy for you. I am so freaking happy for you. Because that's amazing. You have, like, one person that support. That's amazing. But if you don't, like me, you do have beings. Even if it's not in this physical, you have your ancestors. You got a whole spirit team. Like, you have so many beings always with you. And that's what's kept me going, really. In, like, my hardest times, my ancestors, my spirit team, they show up. They show up through music, through movies, through people, through angel numbers, through animals. They show up in any way they can to let me know I'm not alone. And honestly, if I didn't have them, I would not be here with you beautiful beings. So if you do hit a point where you are alone on the outside, or you feel alone, like, even if you have people that support you but you just feel alone, you have your ancestors, you have your spirit team. I recommend building that relationship with them. Your ancestors alone building it with them, because I'm the first in my family for many generations to truly be building my relationship with my ancestors. Thank you, colonizers. From my mom's side, my grandparents were in a boarding school. My aunts and uncles were in the native boarding schools. My mom was the youngest. She was not. But my aunts, uncles, my grandparents, up boarding schools. So that trauma alone, thank you, colonizers. It was impossible for my ancestors, like my family, to be connected to my ancestors. Literally, there was a time where it was illegal to do our culture, to practice our traditions. It was literally illegal. So here I am. The first one really trying to reconnect to my ancestors, and it's such a beautiful thing. And you can talk to them whenever you want. Like, I'll talk to them in my head, out loud, just like a friend. Build that relationship just like you would with any other being. Spirit plate. They love food. They love snackies. If it's family that has like passed from like this life, you knew them, and give them their favorite snacks, drinks, whatever you feel called for. Water. They love water. Giving them offerings, having an altar space for them, have like their pictures up. I've been really trying to be consistent with that. And honestly, I don't know where I would be without my ancestors, because I've had to let both my parents go through my life. Now I am talking to both of them. My mom, I literally cut off for years. Like, I think we almost hit 3 years. And she realized that she was gonna have to do some work. Like, I love my mom, and I understand the pain she's caused on me is just cycles. Like, that's what I've learned. Hurt people. They do. And I only hit a point to that, though. Like, I will understand that a hurt person hurts others. But if I have the ability to, like, go through my shadow and do my work and the stuff that I'm projecting and hurting people, if I can do the work and change it, so can you. Like, that's where I hit it. So with the beings, I've had to release a lot of my family too. They have so much cycles they need to break out of. That was my thing. Like, if you're not gonna do the work, then you just can't be in my life. And that doesn't mean I don't love you, but I love me more. I love me unconditionally, and I will protect me no matter what. Then my mom reached out almost 3 years later, and when I talked to her, all I felt was like sadness. I felt so much sadness, and all I could like feel was just like her spirit, so sad. And she actually came to visit this summer, and there's so much like with me and my mom, but when she came to visit, it was such an experience in the way of like all these terrible like ways she would treat me, and like ways she would react, and all this stuff. When I seen her this time, I realized like it's just cycles. And I'm not a doctor, but I know my mom needs to see a therapist or psychologist or something, because I'm pretty sure she's spicy on the spectrum. But I'm not a doctor. I cannot diagnose her. But a lot of the things she does reminds me of me, with like being neurospicy and getting overstimulated. Like, a lot of the stuff I realized wasn't her just getting angry out of nowhere. It was like overstimulation and her not being able to regulate her emotions. And I also got to really talk with her while she was here, with like no judgment at all. And just learning a lot of the way she reacts and like treats her kids and all of that is like a cycle from my grandparents. And when we really sat down and talked about it, it's like she didn't even realize a lot of that stuff that she was continuing from her parents. She didn't even realize it, you know? And that's something I did too. I was bringing on traits that my mom would like do to me, I would do to the people around me. And when they tell me that, I get so angry. I'm like, how dare you call me my mother? But then I'd sit in it. I'm like, man, I am doing things that she does that hurts me. And now I'm doing these painful things to the people I love, like subconsciously. Our brain is a computer. It will just automatically go. So, like, really sitting with yourself, yes. Like, the way people treat you, if it's shitty, that's not cool. But what part are you taking in this? I'm not saying, like, be different so they don't treat you crappy. That's not it. But if in a situation you can speak up and be like, hey, I don't want to be treated that way, do that. Speak up for yourself. And if they're like, well, then you'll give me my life. You're like, well, then bye. Because I'm amazing. I deserve to be treated the way I treat others. So you can't match that. You can head out. Wish you the best life, but it's not going to be around me. And that's it. And maybe they'll come back in the future and be like, man, I'm sorry. I was not self-reflecting. I've done so much work and I miss you. I won't treat you like that again. And that's different. If you want to like let people back in your life, that's cool. Honestly, I didn't think my mom would be coming back, but she did, and it's been pretty good. At the same time, if she were to fall back and not do the work and like project onto me and hurt me, I can say bye again. Like, I've done so much work, I will never put anybody in the front of like my inner child, my inner teen, and me in like what I want out of life. Except my fur baby, Selena. My child. Other than that, I'm first. And even saying that just feels weird because I was taught to always put others before me. But this is my life. This is my life and this is your life. If we do not sit in the driver's seat and grab the wheel and like push on the gas, someone else is gonna do it. They may pick a destination you did never want to go to, but because you let them sit in your car and drive, that's where you're going. I don't know about you, but I am so tired of being passenger princess to my life. I am in the driver's seat living because I deserve it. You deserve it. Even if it's hard, even if you're going to have to let people go and you're going to be crying, that's okay. That's okay. Crying is good medicine. And sometimes people are not meant to be in our lives forever. They're in our lives for however many seasons they're meant to be. But you're the only one that's going to be with you in your human meat suit for all the seasons while you're here on Uchimaka, Grandmother Earth, in this life, in your meat suit that you're in right now. So you might as well live it the way you want to live it, not the way others want you to live it. As long as you're not hurting other beings. You deserve to live a life that makes you happy. And it's not going to be easy. It's not. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to break cycles that you've been in for however long you've been in. But you are worthy of it. You are a warrior. You're going to fight. You may be crying, but you're still going to be fighting for yourself because you deserve it. And if there are times where you're alone on the outside, talk to your ancestors, your spirit team. They will guide you. This last time in my cave, they were present everywhere. It was like angel number, song, person said something, angel number, movie. Like everywhere, they're like, you're okay. You're okay. It's okay. Stop worrying. please stop worrying or we're gonna do something. You need to stop worrying right now because you're okay. Everywhere. And then they got quiet for a little bit because they were tired. They're like, you've had enough confirmations. Stop beating yourself up now. Get out of your cave. And here I am, out of my cave, being me, authentically being me, letting my brain just go and not putting myself down, not trying to be anything I'm not. Because honestly, I've tried to make my YouTube last year, but I was trying to present myself in a way I thought others would like. But my ancestors are like, that's not what this is for. This is for you to finally have a space where you can just be you. You can just be you because you've been crying to have people see you. You've been crying for your soul tribe. You want friends and all kinds of beings to love you unconditionally and to create with you. But you're hiding. You are hiding. And when you come out, you're not yourself. You're grabbing one of these thousands of masks that you've created, but you're not yourself. How are they gonna find you? So then another year of crying and having to learn that I'm enough. I'm enough as I am. I don't need to be anything, anybody else but me. And that's it. And same with you. I know it's going to take time. You may have days where you're like, I'm amazing, yeah! But then you have days where all those projections and negativity and programming is piling on top of you, making you feel crappy. On those days, be kind of gentle with yourself. Like, really. And if you can't do nothing, like, sometimes you just can't, like, fight your way through it with positivity and, like, gratitude. Yes, you can be grateful for your life and everything, but at the same time, if you're going through crappy crap, it's healthy to feel that, like, man, I'm upset because this is crappy crap. And all I can do is cry. Just cry. Like, release it. Release it. Whenever you can, however you can, in a healthy way. Just be kind of gentle with yourself. I feel like I'm going to say that in every video forever, but that is... that's like the best advice while you're going through this journey. Be kind of gentle with yourself because you're already gonna be beaten up. You're gonna be beaten up. Doesn't help you adding more punches to yourself. You know. You got this. You got this. I believe in you. I believe in you. You deserve to feel safe within your human meat suit. You're internally with yourself. You deserve to feel safe within yourself and on the outside. So whatever you gotta do, you gotta say no. You gotta put up boundaries. You gotta cut people off. Whatever you have to do to protect you, little you, cute little you, and cute teen you, and you. You deserve to protect all three of you. So what are we going to do? We're going to go live? We're going to say no when we want to say no? We're going to say yes when we want to say yes? We're going to fill our cup up first? You get your cup? You're going to fill it up. You're going to just fill it up till it's overflowing. Overflowing. That overflow will go into the other beings you love. Their saucer, right? It's overflowing your saucer. Your saucers are sharing. But if this is empty, you better not be pouring into someone else's cup. You're like, oh, I got a little drip droppy. I'm going to pour the rest. Nah, You got a little drip droppy. You pour it in your cup, so you got a little bit more. And people that love you will want you to fill your cup up first. So you fill your cup up. You go fill your cup up. I'm going to fill mine up. I'm going to eat some food. And I'm going to paint. I got so much stuff to paint. I am excited. Me and my inner child, my inner teen, we are creating just to be. I am just being. So you go be. You deserve to be. And I'll see you next time. Okay? I'll see you later.